We are expecting a decision today in the civil fraud trial involving Donald Trump. Even before the trial started 2.5 months ago, Judge Arthur Engoron ruled that the Trump and members of his family were liable for committing fraud by inflating the value of their assets. The ruling today determines what punishment Trump and his family might face. The Office of State Attorney General Letitia James is seeking up to $370 million in penalties, and she has asked for a ban on Trump doing business in New York State. With me this morning is Jeremy Saland, an attorney and a former prosecutor with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
I want to start with exactly what a business ban would mean to Trump and his family.
It could be catastrophic, and you could take the family out of the Trump business potentially. And what I mean by that is that the ban could say that Donald Trump, Don Jr., Eric, could not operate or run those businesses in New York that they currently have. They couldn't circumvent it and create a new business to take the assets of that old business. There could be a ban up to 5 years to getting loans from banks. That's on top of the potential fines. And then we know about the business certificates, which the judge already addressed before, to say now you can't operate business at all. So catastrophic is a very real potential here.
I want to put up the court calendar to look at all that Trump has going on. This is the civil case. We've had the E. Jean Carroll civil case. The others on this list are mostly criminal cases, and ultimately each of those cases could carry some prison time. What's his greatest peril in the short term?
You know, I think for him personally, I think that his name and his dollars in his pocket and his opportunity to run a business, for him, I think that is the biggest thing. Because in his mind, I don't believe he thinks he's ever going to go to prison or he's going to be convicted of a crime. And while that may be true, that he will not go to jail, there's a real risk that he is convicted. And keep in mind, New York State, he couldn't pardon himself. That's a state case. That is not a federal case.
It's a weird political situation we're in here because Trump gets in front of the cameras and says, this is unfair, I don't have time to be in court for these prosecutions. But at the same time, here he was yesterday speaking to reporters after the decision that he will face trial. He has taken this into a campaign advantage where he gets up there and his base really dives into the notion that he's being unfairly prosecuted. What about the notion that he has put forward more than once of immunity?
So that's still an issue that has not formally been decided. There's an immunity issue that was dealt with Judge Chutkan on the January 6th trial in D.C. The appellate court said no, and that may or may not be heard by the Supreme Court, but that would not impact whatsoever Alvin Bragg's case in New York County, because that is a state case, and people have to understand they are both criminal. D.C. is criminal, Florida's criminal, New York is criminal, but separate jurisdictions, federal and state.
As a criminal defendant, do you have to sit in the courtroom the whole time?
It's not like civil. In theory, you don't show up, the case can proceed without you, but yes, you need to be there.
And just one other procedural question on today's civil matter. We're told that this will be an electronically issued decision. There is no gathering in the courtroom. So those documents tend to just be published on the internet for all to see? And
there's going to be people are going to glom onto that and share it. It's going to be widespread in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, we'll be trying to plow through every page.
Oh, no
of it.
doubt, no doubt.
Jeremy, thank you for being here this morning
My pleasure.
to join in our coverage, and we'll continue to follow this throughout